With PAC starting back in '09, there wasn't a place that homeschoolers could get out and play high school sports. So a lot of parents started the organization and have built the foundation off of allowing homeschool students have a place that they can play and represent in a high school type environment of playing other schools.
So PAC is a homeschool sports organization that provides an opportunity for kids to play sports who are traditionally homeschooled, online virtual school, or either private or charter schools that don't offer a particular sport.
The Greenville Hurricanes program started as a way to provide sports to kids who did not have access to sports. The schools, maybe small, a private school, didn't have access to sports, or they're homeschooled. And so we found that there was a huge need here in the upstate of South Carolina to support kids in athletics where they didn't have access. So the way we break it up is each sport is broken up into a program, and then the programs will support different teams depending upon the number of athletes we have to support that. So what's great with charter school kids is their charter school may not have access to the sport that they're interested in, and so they're able to participate with the Greenville Hurricanes. And what's great about this is we know there's a lot of access to sports in different ways, but the Greenville Hurricanes work with other local private and public schools to give them that competitive experience and environment that they desire.
So I would say that in the low country, baseball is probably going to top out around the top 3 sports that they're going to be played in the area. We've got several high schools around the area with really competitive teams. Our goal here with the Low Country Wildcats is to get the homeschool kids in the area on the baseball field and let them compete in a school season just as if they were going to a regular public school. If you attend a charter school that does not offer baseball as an athletic sport, we take all those students as well as regular homeschool students.
So I play soccer, and I play with Providence Athletic Club, or PAC. And then for where I go to school, I go to Connections Academy. I like the flexibility, and I like to kind of be able to say, okay, for this amount of time, I'm going to get my schoolwork done, and then I get to go to soccer practice, but then I can still come home and log back into Connections and continue to work even after practice.
So I go to Connections Academy. It's more of a virtual school, so we do our lessons online. So it's not really a public environment with a lot of people. So having something like PAC is really good for Connections.
Greenville Hurricanes is a nonprofit organization, so our goal is to provide access to athletics for any student who needs them. And so each program will do their best to keep the fees low, and it's really based on the expenses of that sport.
So our program is based mostly out of Somerville, but we have players that travel from Mount Pleasant. We have them in Charleston. We've got some that come from St. Stephen. So really, as long as it's a doable drive for the player or the parents, we're more than welcome to accept them on the roster.
Well, so if you're going to try for a public school team, in my personal school, it's considered more of a public online school. So it's kind of in the between where you're not considered homeschool and you're not considered public school. So the public schools really wouldn't look at taking you at all. And so this would really be the main option, the best place to go.
This program is set up in its essence similar to public school, where as far as requirements, the coaching having certifications as far as the requirement for concussion and CPR, things like that. We have to do all that. We also have coaching certificates we do with the Coaching Baseball Association as well as USA Baseball. We actually we continue to learn ourselves as we bring players in. We actually see some of them come all the way up through middle school, all the way through JV, and then high school and varsity baseball. So, a lot of the coaches in the public schools don't get to see their players that early.
3 kind of core aspects that we see with our students. First is the physical activity of sports. Sports is a fun and a great way to really engage kids in physical activity so they get the exercise they need, which benefits them currently and for their future health. Secondly is being involved in team play and competitive environments. Studies have shown the value of team play, mentorship, teamwork, hard work, discipline, encouragement to each other, and we continue to encourage our players to mentor young people. And so we take this and find ways to shape the character of the young people and really develop the leaders for the future. And then third, studies have shown that in particular, Harvard had some research that had a correlation between sports and academic achievement. And what they found is the students involved in sports actually showed improved cognitive skills and achievement in their studies. So we are a huge proponent of sports as a great way to holistically support the student athlete.
I've seen some come in, grow academically. I think they feed off each other, because I think some of them are isolated because they're homeschooled or the charter school is not very big. So like she was saying, they come in and then all of a sudden you have another bigger family. So they hold each other accountable.
The biggest thing I've learned is probably teamwork and patience in that teamwork. You know, COVID hit and everything, and then we had, I think, like 4 games in one season, and then the season was over. And then just having that patience with, okay, we're gonna get back out there, it's gonna be okay. And especially for PAC, like just that support system that we already had, the organization is just amazing already.
Learned a lot of teamwork from both sports, trust in other people in cheer, and more working together and doing things as a team with softball.
I would say a lot of the top things that they learn are leadership. Well, I would say a lot of our students are kind of on the higher end of the GPA spectrum. So a lot of our guys graduate early. It's good to see them from a young age learn the things that baseball teaches them in life and carry that through in school.
As far as the student growth, I think one of the things we instill is the leadership among them. But the other one is just how they grow individually as players and teammates. A lot of our players, they are very close. They go out to, after games, they go on their own. They go out, they work out together, aside from the program, the weightlifting programs. Some of them been together for a few years, and even those who come in, they're welcomed pretty readily.
One thing that's really different with the PAC homeschool organization is it's really a family. I mean, you've got people from all walks of life in the Columbia metro area, and they're trying to find their way in this homeschool world. And that's one of the things that PAC really provides, is that family and that just community throughout the area in the homeschool and online virtual school environment.
And so it's a great way for the kids to really get exposed to some great competition. And if a charter school or a student is really looking to improve their skills or one day have their own sports program, which we've seen, this is a good way to start getting young people exposed to a high-level sports program and to really start competing with athletes in the area.
We want to fill our rosters with kids who don't have the option to play at their school, or kids who are homeschooled and just don't have the option of the brick and mortar school process.
For parents who are interested in, one, it is important for them to know that we do not play rec league baseball, right? Some are a little bit stressed at the practice times, the amount that you practice, the games that you have, but we play a regular high school varsity JV, and we practice that way.
Last year we were able to serve 600 athletes through our program, and that's across 30 different teams, 10 different sports. So that just kind of gives you the scope of how we support the community with different kinds of sports.
Oh, I just would recommend anyone to check it out, especially if they're looking for an outlet for their child for athletics.